Hey everyone, Vickie Magic here from Wake Up. You've got this podcast. And today I have a lovely young lady here by the name of Bridget Jane. Welcome, Bridget.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us. So I just want to start straight in by asking you to share a little bit about what you do and then going straight into why you do it.
Great. Okay, so what I do in a nutshell is I predominantly work with women, but not exclusively, on issues around food, eating, weight, their body. So women who may have spent a long time being fixated in that space and not really having real success with that. And what we do together is I show them how those issues are actually not the issue, and we get into what's really going on and on a journey really of self-discovery and, you know, working out how truly amazing and beautiful they are on the inside and aligning with that so that the outside naturally sorts itself out, including why they originally came to me.
Yeah. And so what's your why?
My why, there's a few. The first why that set me on this path was I was an overweight child. So I was bullied, I was unfit, I was fairly unhealthy. And I decided at a young age that I didn't want to go on to be a teenager, young adult that was overweight. It just wasn't going to happen. But I also wanted to enjoy my food, and I didn't love exercise, and I didn't like any of the methods that I saw around me that women were using to lose weight. So I decided I would outsmart the system and, you know, learn about the food that I could love and eat lots of in delicious ways so that I would enjoy myself. And obviously slowly also taught myself movement that I enjoyed, that, you know, I love nature, and I did as a young girl too. So for me, it wasn't about sweating and exercising. It was about learning to move my body and feeling how that made me feel. And for me, it was such an amazing contrast from how I originally felt, being unfit, overweight, lethargic, all that, unmotivated, just in a yucky headspace, to, wow, I feel alive. I'm enjoying this. This is so much fun. And I just wanted to share that message with the whole world because I saw women suffering and dieting and depriving and, you know, sweating and starving. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, you don't need to do that. There's a better way. And I wanted to share that with everyone.
Yeah, awesome. So that leads straight into the next question, which is perfect. So the moment of awakening, when was it that you did wake up and realize that actually you did have within you all of the tools that you needed to do this?
Yeah, I guess, you know, that first wake up did happen when I felt the contrast for myself in how I felt, and I woke up that I wanted to share that with the world. I wasn't clear on the pathway, but it kind of found me. So I went down the path of studying nutrition and dietetics and becoming a dietitian. And then it kind of went from there. There were a few more adjustments on the path, I guess you could say, where I had another moment where I realized that I developed quite a unhealthy relationship with food. Everything that it started out as a good intention became quite obsessive, and in particular I was afraid of fat. And there was a moment where I was studying neuroscience about the brain and how the brain's like 67% fat, and when we don't have enough fat on our bodies, that our body will take it from our vital organs. And so for me it was like, oh my goodness, I'm creating holes in my brain. And so I really was then, you know, committed to relearning a healthy relationship with food again and myself. And so that took me on a newer, renewed path, commitment to health and what this was about. It wasn't about, you know, the weight and getting thinner and thinner, and like it kind of woke me up. That's not healthy. And then as I went through, I studied the psychology of eating, and I went into counselling. And what I started to realise over the years is that people know what to eat. It's not the food. You know, people aren't silly. You know, Yeah, there's a benefit in some education around nutrition. You know, I worked in childcare centres with sports people, in workplaces. There's some level of benefit to it, but it's very limited. And for most people, there's other stuff going on which is causing them to overeat or eat the foods that aren't, you know, optimal for them in terms of nutrition. So that's where I started digging deeper with people into, hang on a sec, you know, drink water, eat veggies, move your body, yes. Okay, what else is going on? Let's get into this. Like, what is making you eat a whole packet of Tim Tams? What is causing you to drink a bottle and a half of wine a night? Why is it that you feel that you don't deserve to get out and enjoy nature, or do you know what I mean? Feel that beautiful benefit from moving your body. So we started getting deeper, and that's where I really went down the path of psychology. And yeah, there's a lot more layers to this, but I also went through a phase of anxiety and depression in my own life, and that made me more passionate about, you know, mental health and being holistically overall healthy, not just healthy as in an appearance, but truly happy on the inside, and then, you know, developing that health from the inside out.
Yep. And so with that, what would be a life tool or a lesson that you gained along the way that you would be happy to share, you know, with our listeners, to give them a little bit of insight as to something they might be able to do for themselves?
The biggest thing I can say is that we get lost in looking outside of ourselves for answers and focusing on, like I said to you, these things that we think are the problem. So we think it's our weight, we think it's the food, we think it's, you know, whatever external thing we think is. But they are all just messengers. So symptoms are messengers. And if we listen to them, embrace them, and go within ourselves, we will find our own answers. And truly, 100%, we all do have the answers inside, but most times we are not creating time or space for ourselves to go inside, and we don't trust ourselves, and we keep looking outside for answers. And so the biggest thing I can say to people is develop your inner connection and your inner relationship. 9 out of 10 people, at least, that I've worked with over the years do not like themselves. And that is at the root of what's going on for people. They don't like themselves, they don't trust themselves, and, you know, so much has been projected onto outside circumstances. However, we are the projector, right? And the movie is happening in front of us, but it's coming from within us. So that is a big thing to take on board, to take that level of responsibility. However, it is the most liberating and empowering position to learn to navigate in life.
And so if somebody was listening to this and getting excited by the possibility, what might be their very first step?
The very first step would be to not believe your thoughts and feelings so much, to be aware of them, take a snapshot of them, even write them down, what's going on, and then question and go, is that the truth? You know, I might think and feel this way, but is that the truth? And then understand that you've been conditioned really to take on a lot of these thoughts and feelings from whoever, and they're just habits, and they can change. And if you want a different future, the way to create that future is to consider the person that has that future, how do they think and feel on a daily basis? And then starting to align yourself with that, and recognizing every time you go down that same old path, no, we don't do that anymore. This is how we think and feel. And it's not to just, you know, I don't want to smooth over, you know, it's so easy just to change your thinking. You want to listen to and honor how you feel and your emotions. And you also want to realize that you get to choose then, you know, once you've heard them, once you've felt them, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to keep playing that same old track and perpetuate that same old story? Or are you going to go, I love you, I honor you, thank you for bringing me where I am now, and now I want to, you know, start my new story, essentially.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. So what difference has it made in your life to, you know, have this awakening and now be able to share this awakening with others?
To be honest with you, it's led to me living a life beyond what I ever imagined possible. You know, from struggle and push and work hard and be someone and go somewhere and look the part and you know, all that kind of surface level ideas about what is success in life to true inner happiness and peace, where I wake up and my life is a dream. And I'm not just saying that, it is genuinely a dream. And then being able to share everything that I've learned, because I feel like I probably made a lot of mistakes early in life. And I really want others to know they don't have to make those same mistakes, that they can actually fast forward to this waking up and living their dream, you know. Yeah, that's what I'm excited about is you know, you think, oh, it's only possible for these certain kinds of people, but this is me and this is my life, and I have to live this life, and I've got these responsibilities, and you know, that can be true, but also you always get a choice. You know, you always get a choice, and aligning with your heart and who you really are is the secret to creating a life that is beyond your wildest dreams. And it takes a bit of courage, and it takes stepping out of your comfort zone, and it isn't the path most commonly traveled. So you do need to deviate from what the masses are doing, and that can feel scary. However, I always say to clients, if you want the results of the masses, and not to you know, speak ill of anyone at all, but these are the stats. 1 in 2 people are on antidepressants. 1 in 2 people are diagnosed with diabetes. You know, 75% of our population are overweight or obese. You know, we are not happy in general. You know, we're medicating ourselves. When I say medicating, I mean alcohol, drugs, food, drama, you know, but we are not, as a population in general, really soul level happy people. And that's what I'd love to offer every single person, is that it is possible to find that soul level happiness, no matter who you are, no matter your background, and actually your entire history and everything that's happened so far will make, when you discover your soul, it'll make everything so much more rich, if that makes sense.
Yeah, cool. And so if I was to ask you, have you got this thing called life, what would you say?
Well, I'd say yes, for sure. And there was a time, and you know, of course I'm human, I have moments where I think, have I got this? No, I don't have a clue, I don't know anything, right? But it's so apparent to me more and more these days that I do get it, you know, and it's taken me a while to claim that and go, yeah, no, I do get this, because I did for a long time feel I didn't have it, and you know, I'm such and such age and I don't have this and I don't have that and I haven't gotten there, and you know, but the thing is a few people point out to me, but you have like the things that people really want, you know, even though they think it might be the car, the beach house, the millions of dollars or whatever. It's actually true love and happiness and peace that people want. Love, acceptance, joy. You know, and I have those things. Yes, I feel I really do.
Awesome. Love, love, love. So if you were to be able to encourage somebody that's listening thinking, oh, you know, I want that as well, and, you know, they were looking for what else could I do to make that possible, what words of encouragement or wisdom would you offer?
Yeah. The key piece of all of this, and the thing that I had to work really hard on and still work on today, but not so hard, is you really must love yourself. And, you know, it is very cliche. People say it all the time. I used to roll my eyes about it. Self-love, self-love. You know, it was like it felt like a fashion or something. But the reality is you live with yourself 24/7. And if you don't support, encourage, you know, love yourself, if you're not there for yourself, life is going to be a struggle and it's going to be a roller coaster, and you're going to keep looking outside of yourself for fulfillment when that is never the place to find it. You know, I think a lot of being a human is about navigating the duality between being a soul and being a physical human. And when we can discover that and know, you know, we are beautiful and, you know, amazing as unique souls, when we really get that piece, and that comes from developing a relationship with yourself, loving yourself, supporting yourself, encouraging yourself, forgiving yourself, being there for yourself, everything else falls into place.
Yep. And so if you were to offer our listeners something from you, what might that be?
Well, I really love to get to know people, and so I am more than happy to offer a 30-minute one-on-one with people. Mm-hmm. There's just a few little questionnaires I love to get people to complete first, so that I can really know, you know, how to best serve them in that 30 minutes.
Yep.
And that's completely complimentary.
Awesome. Okay. And so before we finish up, is there anything else that you would like to share or summarise or close with?
Yeah. One thing I would like to say to anyone who feels that they are struggling, they're stuck, they're lost, they feel like they're in darkness and they don't see a way out, I want you to know that there is always a way out, and there is purpose for everything that happens. And the moment that you choose, the things will be different for you, and that you'll move forward towards the light and to a more positive future, that will unfold for you. But it does take for you to stand up for yourself and say, okay, thank you. I've had all this experience. I'm done with the darkness. Let's move towards the light.
Mm-hmm. And somebody who was listening to this thinking, you know, kind of almost what you said before, that's okay for them, but it's different for me. What would you how might you encourage them to see that it could be the same for them too?
I would say there's a lot today that we haven't covered about my own story and about my own struggles and challenges. So we have skipped over and, you know, probably just, it sounds like maybe talked about the highlights, but I want you to know that I've had some extremely difficult and dark times. To be honest, it's lucky that I'm here today. And I believe that there is hope for everyone, and you're more powerful than you'll ever realize. And if you can think of it, dream of it, conceive of it, then you can create it. Absolutely.
Awesome. So anything else you want to say?
Thank you. And I just want everyone to really know that how beautiful, amazing and powerful they are. There has never been a soul in this world that I've met that I haven't fallen in love with.
Awesome. Thank you, and thanks for being here this morning. Very, very grateful to have you in the room. And thanks everyone for listening to Wake Up, You've Got This. Over and out.